This is a turn one summary for the Axis and Allies game we got going on right now. William's playing as the Axis. I'm most of the Allies, and Tyler's the Soviets. So I'll just go over some strategy and what's happened each turn. So this is the video for turn one. Germany bought a couple subs, 3 subs, a couple air transports, paratroopers. So it looks like Sea Lion, or at least a bunch of pressure on the UK. The paratroopers probably will go down to Romania to do some airdrops on the Caucasus and maybe go after the oil bonus down there. Or they could be used in Sea Lion. For combat moves, Germany did the classic kill the British Navy off UK, and then Liam tried to blitz his tanks through Normandy and into Paris, but that didn't work out, so he took a bunch of casualties in Paris and only living with 1 medium tank and 1 plane. So that was the German turn. Killed Yugoslavia, moved up to the Russian front. Nothing too scary. The Russian turn, Tyler just moved everything off the front, consolidated in Belarus and Ukraine. Just the classic wait and see. Not much to talk about. The UK's turn in Europe, I just did the Gibraltar stack, which I moved every navy that I could from the Mediterranean and what was left in the Atlantic to Gibraltar. So squaring off with the Italian navy. This is at the end of the turn, so Italy built navy, but before that I had superiority. It's probably about even now. I just went after Ethiopia and Iraq. I like to do that because then if Italy went to Syria, then they don't have the 3 Iraq guys waiting for them, so it's a lot more of a... They have to go in a lot more force into there. So I let Tobruk live, and I let the Navy mostly live of Italy, so... and then on Italy's turn, it just finished the battleship that starts in the build queue, and built a destroyer to defend the Navy, so they're probably good for my next turn. But I'm happy with that. If they have to spend money on ships, then they can't spend money on ground units to take Egypt or South Africa later. I'll stay in the Atlantic. For the U.S. turn in the Atlantic, just built a bunch of destroyers because Germany built subs, so even if I do suffer a lot of convoy rating, then the Americans can really clean it up. I haven't really decided Atlantic or Pacific for the U.S. yet, but I like to keep it flexible. So, the destroyers will probably stay Atlantic to start with, but who knows? All right, over to the Pacific. It's kind of a classic. Japan opening, took all the territories in China and landed some more guys on the mainland, and then Liam built a couple more, or started a couple battleships and a carrier, which I think is a bit early for that, because you want to get your ground units and transports out early to get them where they need to be when you do the surprise attack. So he's probably going to have naval superiority at least early in the Pacific, and then maybe I'll catch up later. Maybe I won't care. I'm not quite sure. As India, and I guess this is UK too, so my entire allied strategy is I'm trying to make a few strong points. So I transported 2 guys into Philippines as the US, and then I railed, voice crack, railed 3 guys into AA to Malaya. So my thought is if I can have a few strong points, you say Yunnan, India, Malaya, Philippines, then he's going to have too much to deal with at least early, and then I'm going to get some bonus dollars for at least keeping a few of those. Like Australia gets a bonus for Malaya, China gets a bonus for Burma Road, US gets a bonus for Philippines. So if I can get at least one of those for a couple turns, then I might slow Japan down enough and get some bonus money. So as Australia, I shipped another guy and anti-air to New Zealand and kept the fighter there. So that's another... I just want everything to be a little bit garrisoned, so he has to spread himself out. And then U.S. West Coast, not much. Just move the destroyer back from Philippines and I sent the sub from Hawaii to Guam just to put some convoy pressure on. So, yep, that's the turn. Oh, I guess one thing I didn't mention is I upgraded the factory in Canada to a medium, and I'm going to continue to that to a major to get another tech roll. And probably the Australia factory, I'm going to aim to upgrade that as well. So I'm going to have 4 major factories as Britain. So hopefully that'll get me some tech. All right, I'll try to do another one at the end of round 2. Bye. Okay, and another turn recap. So this is for turn 2. So Germany, they missed on tech again, built a couple more subs and spread their subs out to convoy me pretty bad. They did a bombing raid on London, got the bomber shot down, but damaged the airbase 5. They built 8 tanks in Berlin there and moved a couple air transports down to Romania, so they'll probably go for the they'll either go to ally Turkey or just take the Caucasus or something like that. They also took Greece. As UK, I moved the fleet out of the Med, claimed Brazil, tried to clean up some convoy raiding, only killed the sub off Iceland, built a destroyer or 2 subs. So the subs I'll send out to convoy raid there and off of France and off of Norway. So hopefully they'll make their money back. America on this side didn't build much, just a strat bomber and move some ships up on the build queue. That's what it looks like at the end of turn 2 there. Russia just built infantry, the same deal as turn 1, just staying 1 tile off the front line. Alrighty, we'll move to the Mediterranean now. So I moved the British fleet out just so I can claim Brazil there and get my destroyers closer to respond to all this sub raiding. And then with my fleet out of the Med, Liam did take Egypt with the Italians there. I own Crete because Greece was attacked, and I claimed the rest of the Middle East. And I have some troops down here, but it's probably not enough as it is. I built 3 infantry in South Africa, so I'm a couple turns away from recapturing Egypt, I think, or I'll just take it back 1 turn and then lose it right again and just get into the back and forth. In the Pacific, I had a catastrophic turn as China, so I had 4 guys in Szechuan and 2 guys in Shensi. So I sent 2 guys against Yunnan against that artillery, lost both. I sent 4 guys in the fighter against his 4 units in Kwaichow, lost 3 infantry and only killed 1 guy. So I got wrecked, and instead of collecting what would I have collected? $13. I collected 5. So China's pretty much over. He just needs to finish it out in the next couple turns. Australia, I put a guy on Java, so if Japan declares, then I'll be making some good money as Australia. And then as US, I built 3 more subs off the West Coast. He's got quite a navy here, so he can probably take Philippines and Hawaii, I think, which isn't good. But I think after that it'll really slow down, just with the Dutch East Indies not really going to be that free with a couple guys there. I'm going to have probably 1 more turn to move that guy on Malaya to Sumatra or something, just to make all these islands not a walk-on. So yeah, that's about it. All right, end of turn 3. Germany and Japan still didn't declare war on Russia or US, so it's just Britain by itself. So there's more convoy raiding, some more back and forth there. I lost a couple destroyers, killed a plane and a couple subs. US so far has built mostly in the Atlantic. In the Mediterranean, lost Malta, but Egypt's still good. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I moved some British Navy back and finished off the battleship carrier cruiser, so probably can go down and kill the Italian fleet in the next turn or two, like 2 turns away. But it looks scary for Germany too, so hopefully I can induce some D-Day defenses. I don't think I'll land in Europe for a bit though, just to play the strategic game, convoy and strategic bomb, and sew up the Med even more. Italy did go in at the end of turn 3, just into Bessarabia, so it's kind of obvious. I mean, next turn Germany has to go to war, so... Oh, that's not supposed to be there. There's a couple air transports and planes down here, so I'll probably go for the Caucasus, or maybe get Germany helping out in the Mediterranean, maybe get Crete or Cyprus. In the Pacific, had some terrible, I wouldn't say terrible luck, but the luck combined with the risky move kind of screwed me. So China's pretty well over. They're going to clean it up next turn. India is going to stand for a while though, and probably become quite a bit of a headache in Southeast Asia here. There's one transport off Siam. I'm not sure where that's going. But the main Japanese force here is in Caroline, so they can hit Sydney or Hawaii or New Zealand or whatever they want to do. The planes aren't in range of Sydney, so if he does go into Sydney, even with the surprise attack, it'll be pretty close. He'll probably get it, but I can probably recapture it with Southern Australia plus the New Zealand fighter, and then I'm not sure what I'll have for follow-up here, but for the US, I just have a bunch of subs around. Gonna try to make it a headache for him, make him buy destroyers and rather than ground units to get more cities on the mainland. I'm not too worried about losing Australia. It's only 2 cities, and it's a bit harder to hold than India, because I can build up his US at any time and put pressure back on it. Whereas if you lose India, it's lost for the game, because you can only really build in South Africa if you still have it. So it's just too far away from any allied production. So yeah, so start of turn 4 things will kick off. All right, this is the map after the end of turn 4. Germany's turn, they finished their factory in Greece, declared war on Russia. I guess they had to, pretty much. So they consolidated in Baltic states and Bessarabia, pretty normal. What else? They landed 3 paratroopers in Caucasus. Put a paratrooper here in northern Russia. Did some more convoy stuff. Took out a Canadian destroyer, but the rating's pretty cleaned up by now, so might have to chase them around a bit more. I've been rolling really bad trying to kill them, but it is what it is. They're still building tanks. Yeah, the factory in Greece is done, but not sure how good that is going to be now with Italy pretty much kicked out of Africa. So that's what Germany did. Onto Russia, they consolidated in Leningrad and Ukraine. So they should be able to hold both next turn. I think Germany will have to pick north or south with all their tanks. They probably have 25 tanks total, maybe 22 tanks total. So as soon as they send them all one way, they'll probably be able to either get Leningrad in a couple turns once those guys in Berlin are railed forward and all the tanks, and build a couple planes, they'll probably be able to get Leningrad. But yeah, lots of infantry though to wade through. So if they go further than Crimea or Leningrad, then we'll have issues. But until then, it's pretty normal. On to Britain. So last turn I finished off those ships, and then this turn I reconsolidated in Gibraltar. So I got only 2 transports there, but I probably have enough navy to kill his fleet. And then I started a factory in Egypt, air base in Egypt, and then I have 2 transports in that fleet too. So In total, I have 4 transports. Probably can't do much with that, but I can retake Malta, maybe take Sardinia, Corsica, maybe Greece if he leaves it lightly defended. That'd be quite a blow. Take out 3 air transports in the minor factory, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I think I could kill his fleet next turn, but I don't know if it's worth it. I got him hemmed in as it is. There's 5 fighters defending it, so it would be bloody for me too. Like might not have too much navy left to guard my transports, and then if my transports die to his German planes or something, then it's kind of all for nothing. So I might just wait a bit and keep him hemmed in, make him spend money on ships if he wants to, and convoy raid around and take the islands back and such. So yeah, Egypt's pretty safe, definitely safe. I built a transport and 2 guys in South Africa. They can go to the Pacific or be another transport here for the Med. I got 5 guys in Iraq too, so I should have lots of ground units to cycle in to wherever I'm going. If I do get Greece, I can maybe walk up to Bulgaria, which I think activates Turkey as Britain. So that would be probably a game-winning move. Like once that happens and I have Egypt connected to the southern front, then it'll definitely be too much for the Axis. I just want to talk about the Caucasus airdrop. Liam dropped 3 paratroopers there, and I don't think that was a great trade. Like I think he could have done 1 on Caucasus just to collect the money and then expect him to die and maybe get a hit on his way out, or send all 3 into Georgia to try and kill Liam's 2 guys or Tyler's 2 guys kill the 2 guys, get the $2 for Georgia, and then I'd have to either move British guys up or Tyler would have to move Russian guys down, and then you might have a turn collecting the $2. So yeah, that's kind of what I thought about that play. So going to the Pacific now. So Japan used their surprise attack on Sydney. They did take it. I know it's in Australian hands now, but they did take it. And they took Queensland with 2 guys, which I think was smart because I had a couple guys there too. So if he had put all his eggs in Sydney, then I would have taken it back and he would have no way to trade back Sydney. But as it is now, he'll take it back for good next turn. Elsewhere in his surprise attack, he took French Indochina, finished off regular China. I walked back in as UK, so hopefully I can get China back on the map in a couple turns. He took Guam, so that takes away a US bonus, and then I killed his transport that did it with the Philippines fighter and a couple subs. And then he has 3 destroyers and a transport in Philippines, but they missed on the sub that was there, so it's good for me. So in Hawaii, I have the entire Atlantic fleet basically, minus a couple destroyers. I took Caroline with 1 infantry just to, it's a victory city, air base, port, $2 to me, $2 away from him. It takes away a bonus of 3 for him for having all his originally controlled territories. So I'm fine losing the transport. I'm fine if he comes back and kills it with the 1 guy, but even that I don't think he will with my fleet sitting there, so I'll probably get it for a couple turns. New Zealand's pretty safe because he's going to have to use those last 2 guys on Sydney. I flew 2 fighters down. So I think it was a good surprise attack, but I don't think he was expecting me to move the US fleet over, so he's going to be stuck down here. And without Philippines, he doesn't really have a naval base to rebase to. And the fact that I took Sydney back, he doesn't even start with a naval base here, even during non-combat movement, because you don't get the facility unless you started the turn with it. So he can't. So if he still had the naval base, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Philippines, say. But he doesn't have the naval base, so if he wanted to get out of Dodge, he's only be able to go 3, which is to Java, so that's basically nothing. It would be running away, but you're out of the game for at least 2 turns, probably 3. And if he moves his navy to Queensland port, I think I have enough to kill him. Maybe if he moves all that stuff down, maybe not, but it'll be interesting to see what he does. But it's good for me even if he does consolidate and I can't kill him, because he has 5 transports here, which can't reload with guys. So he can't get Philippines, Borneo, Malaya, any of my money-making territories. And if he does build transports, he can't protect them because I have my fleet here, which can reach, and his fleet can't get back up to protect them. So he's either going to have to build a bunch on mainland to make up for it and go after India very quickly, or start making a minor factory in Queensland. But either way, he's kind of in a situation, even though he will be able to get Sydney and probably build on it a couple times before I can get down there with any amount of stuff. I built another 6 shitty boats, like subs and destroyers too. So I've got more coming. He's got more coming, but I think if he has to sit down there, I'm fine with it. Overall, what I think of who's winning, or what I think it's looking Allied favored, I think we'll lose probably Leningrad, probably Philippines. He might take back Caroline, but I think that's all I really see them getting at this point. Like I think we're a couple battles away from conceding. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I think unless something could go really wrong in Russia, like if we lose a big battle that we weren't expecting, or maybe leaving something open, but just economically the Allies are extremely favored right now, and Italy's hemmed in, Japan's out of position. I think the only thing we could really lose is the Eastern Front, and even if we do, then we might be able to trade it. Say we lose Leningrad and Stalingrad. I don't think we'll lose Moscow. Even if we did do that, then that's still not even close to enough cities. So that's where I think the game is. End of round 4. Okay, turn 5 summary. The West looking pretty similar to last time, I think. Germany went into Western Ukraine, Ukraine. Had a rough first round, lost most of their infantry. Probably could have all ended in 1, but definitely not worth it to lose tanks and planes. Little spoiler for next round. I know Germany's going into Leningrad, so I think it's going to be 54 units on 50. So the Germans should win that because they'll be losing 1s, and the Russians will be losing 2s. So once you get into those later rounds, there'll be a big disparity in hits. So the Germans should win with probably, I'd say, all their planes, maybe 5 tanks left, something like that. So it'll definitely be good for them to get some money there, because that Leningrad's worth 3 and then a bonus of 5. And then they'll probably be able to spread out some more for some more money. The south, though, the Axis has kind of ran out of infantry, so it'll be tough for Germany to get any more cities than that. Like, it'll be tough for them to get into Stalingrad or Moscow, but we'll see. The Atlantic is pretty well wrapped up in terms of actually losing money to convoy raiding. I'll probably lose a destroyer this turn, and it'll continue, but it's definitely past the point where it's an issue. The US and Britain both got super subs this turn, which is kind of good for US. Britain, you'd probably rather get something else. Won't get a tech roll next turn because the India factory is damaged, but the Canadian factory did roll a 6, so that's good. So I also got heavy ordnance as US, so I built a couple more bombers. I have 3 transports there ready to get more troops to the west here. The Mediterranean's still mostly at a standstill. I don't really want to commit to the fleet battle and lose transports to planes if he doesn't scramble. And I think the threat of the Navy and naval invasion might be better than actually doing it. I'm pretty comfortable to just sit here for a bit, maybe knock off Corsica and Sardinia and Malta, but just sacrificing transports to do it, hem him in and make him move out if he wants to take them back. Egypt has a factory now, so I'll have a closer supply line to put pressure. Also, what I've been thinking about is when we get over to Japan is India is probably on pace to fall in probably 5 turns, which turn 10 is kind of fine to fall, but if I have a factory and naval base here in Egypt, I can get troops to India in 1 turn, so I can set up to reinforce it with European money. Yeah, so that's the southern front there. There's a couple paratroopers in Greece. So I don't know, if his planes go to Leningrad, I don't know if I'll be able to do much with them this turn. Maybe take Cyprus, maybe take Crete, which would be annoying, but it'll also weaken Greece. So I could go for that with all my transports too. Take out his factory and rail. Yeah, and then down here I got a super sub and another transport. So I'm slowly getting more and more transports here. So when I do go into Europe, I'm gonna go big. I'll probably piss away a couple more to taking some islands though. All right, over to the Pacific. I guess that was this turn. So Sydney fell for good now. They just took out my Australian fighter. Landed planes in Queensland. I could have gone for Queensland from Hawaii, but I only had 1 transport, so I would have just been bombardments and a couple infantry, so I probably could have killed a couple planes and just lose my 2 guys, but that would screw up my supply lines too, losing infantry that will take me a lot of turns to replace. So I've taken Caroline, consolidated there, so this Western Australia fleet can't hit me, and the one in Japan's not strong enough, so I'm in a good position to maybe go to Philippines, maybe threaten the major factory in Shanghai, maybe retake Sydney, maybe retake Borneo, something like that. Just I don't think I'll be able to catch his fleet if he plays it right. He'll probably, I don't know, go to Malaya or meet up in Hainan with the Japanese mainland fleet. I only have 2 transports, so not really enough to take back Sydney if he builds guys there, so that's about how it is. In China, I did take Yunnan. He'll probably take it back, but I'm hoping to kill some planes. He's starting to build 5 tanks a turn in Shanghai, so that'll be an issue, but $30 on tanks is probably not enough to have enough left over to beat the US Navy, so I'm kind of fine with that. He moved some troops north in China, maybe to go into Russia. He's not really in a position to do that, I don't think, because if he does, then I think China is going to end up being revived by Russians flooding across the border. I think if he'd moved those 8 ground units back towards India, then I probably wouldn't have gone into Yunnan, so not what I would do. It might work out though. Yeah, that's it. I think this Leningrad battle will decide quite a bit, and the chess game in the Pacific, whether I can retake Sydney or kill his fleet or something decisive. I think puttering around is what I plan to do, but if something opens up, that's be exciting. All right, turn 6 next. All right, end of turn 6. So I guess the big thing that happened at the start of the turn was Germany took Leningrad. Rolled pretty bad, especially on one round where he rolled 14 for 3 and got 1 hit. So that's just abysmal. But they did manage to take Leningrad with only losing 1 plane, but lost all their tanks except for the one to take it. I tried to retake it with the mechanized and 2 planes, lost the mechanized in round 1, and didn't think it was worth it to continue. Maybe I could have killed a plane and gone for it, but I didn't want to lose the last of the Russian Air Force because we lost 2 planes in Leningrad. So then on Russia's turn, I guess Germany backed up to Romania in the south front, so then we pushed out into western Ukraine. So the south is looking good, the north is looking okay. The Germans don't have many units, but neither do the Russians. The Russians rolled improved construction, so that's a $2 discount on any building, and any building can be built in 1 turn. So $8 forts are really nice. So I put 1 in Russia, so that kind of Moscow's safe for a long time. Like it may be by the end of the game that'll be threatened, but for now it's all good. Lots of bombing going on now as the Allies. So just bombed the German factory for 14. Got a hero from Liam if he wants to dogfight his fighter or not. I did dogfight just so I know the roles and if he decides to. And we traded a bomber for a fighter, so that's good. Still can't kill these subs. In the Mediterranean with the British, I built 3 planes and a sub. So next turn I'm going to go in against the fleet. US just sacrificed a transport to get Sardinia, and Sardinia is where I'm going to land all my planes if on the US turn, where I can start bombing with those 2 bombers in Gibraltar, or maybe make a landing in northern Italy or Rome or somewhere there. But yeah, that'll let me get my planes in the battle if I can land there, because Malta isn't close enough. So yeah, it's each turn I'm adding a destroyer or 2 to the fleet. So we took Malta back this turn, just kind of biding our time, and I have, I don't know, 10, 12 planes and 12 ships, say, against his 8 ships and 4 planes. So he probably won't even scramble at this point. Yeah, economically, the British are doing amazing. Not getting raided much at all. The Germans are getting raided for 12 a turn right now. The Russian sub up there by Finland, the one off Norway, the one in the Baltic, and then the one off Normandy. So pretty rough, but I mean, if they put out any destroyers, the destroyers will just die. So they can't really clean it up any easy way. Yeah, that's pretty much all for Europe. It's looking rough for Germany, but they did get Leningrad. All right, the Pacific. So Russia declared war on Japan. So walked a guy into Korea and then into China. The British spread out in China and then backed up to Burma. The Japanese are building 5 tanks a turn now, so that's pretty scary for India because they're only making $14. But if they can make the Japanese send some tanks into China, I think they probably won't need to, at least this first turn. But and then on the U.S. turn, I landed a guy each in Hong Kong and Kangxi. So again, just trying to be annoying. And then I had my fleet in Caroline, so I sent a sub out into every convoy zone. So that's also going to be super annoying. And then since my fleet was weakened by leaving all my subs, I rebased it back to the West Coast. Japan consolidated the mainland fleet and the Australia fleet into Queensland, which I think was a good move. If I had attacked it, I think it's about 50-50, but I'm feeling good about the game as a whole, so I didn't really want to go in for a decisive battle and then lose, and then that's goodbye to Caroline Islands and New Zealand, and then Japan's going to be back in the game and be able to just send everything against India and get it. So, yeah, so I backed up. So he has to keep worrying about me, and then he has to clean up all these subs. Or if, how many destroyers does he have? He has 6, and I have 9 or 10 zones rating. So he's at least getting rated for $12 next turn, maybe more. He's bombed the factory a bit in India, but it's only 5 damage, and I have $14, so I can build my 5 units. And he's got another bomber there now, so I'll have to pay off a bit of it next turn. But yeah, that's how it's going so far. I would say it's going to be an Allied victory. I'm 90% sure of that, unless something unexpected happens. All right. Okay, I think the game's being called. It's midway through turn 7. I took Rome on the British turn, destroyed the Italian fleet. I rolled really well. Lost a few planes to target select in Rome, but only lost 3 ground units. So there's still 9 in Rome, and he could attack with 12 units total. So he could probably recapture, and then I would recapture with the Americans and probably get northern Italy as well. So the Germans aren't really in a position to recapture after that. They have, say, 4 tanks, so, or no, 5, but it would be about a 50-50 shot maybe. Say they get it back, and then the British get it back, and it's just the Italians would basically be out of the game after that, and the Russian front would be quite weakened. Romania is quite strong. I think Leningrad would probably take a shot at it with Russia, depending on what was built. I think the factories actually should be upgraded that I didn't add, but yeah, definitely. So there'd be 5 units there plus the Baltic States forces, so that'd be close. But yeah, I think what else is going on this side? So yeah, there's 2 bombers in England and then 2 bombers in Gibraltar. So, and the U.S. have heavy bombers, or whatever it's called, heavy ordnance. So the bombing would just be obscene anyway. The economics of Europe is just so far in the Allies' favor. My last build, I built 4 transports in Egypt, so I can retake Rome if I have to, or rebase to India if that's under threat. So Japan's game, they would accomplish what they wanted to. Sydney got New Zealand. They still have a good foothold in China, as annoying as I'm being. Malaya's bombed. I'm forced back to Burma, so it's all going good here. I mean, I'm sure they'd love to have Philippines and Malaya at this point, but it's pretty hard when you have all your transports down here to have to look after this, because you take Sydney the first time, and then Australia is set up to counterattack. So you counterattack, and then the Japanese have to take it back again, and then build, and then take New Zealand, and you still have so many empty transports that can't really safely get back with all these American subs around. I think Japan lost 15 to convoy raiding last turn. And then to try and stop it, you have to leave all your destroyers hanging. So I'd probably kill another 2, 3, 4 destroyers this turn and ship out more subs. The US has super subs with 4 sitting there too. And with Italy basically out of the game, I could probably start building 10 super subs a turn for the Americans and be in no worry about losing Hawaii or Victoria Island or anything. Still probably would lose Philippines, but yeah. And like I said, I think India's safe because they're in reach with enough British money, because you have Egypt and South Africa, and the UK has improved factories, so the UK could spend a lot of money over here to at least guard West India, say, if Calcutta falls. So I think that would only, even if Japan did as well as they could, like if they got Caroline Islands Philippines, both India cities, and Hawaii, they would still need to recapture Italy completely and get one or two more Russian cities. So yeah, I do think it's over because I don't think Japan could even accomplish all that either. Just the economics of it is too far gone at this point. I think, yeah, like I said, I think Japan played as good of a game as it can with going for Australia. It's not my favorite strategy. Like I think it works, but you need to have really good follow up, and I think you need some more pressure from Italy to distract some UK money, because I sent 5 guys from India to Egypt from the start of the game. I railed them to Persia turn 2 or 3, and having a brain fart here. But yeah, if Italy has Egypt and they can come through the Suez and get West India or South Africa, that kind of keeps India at home a little more rather than flexing out into China. And then Russia, they did lose Leningrad, but there's not too much pressure on losing anything further. Like that broke the German infantry stack. So they declared war on Japan and revived China. So China's going to start being annoying again. Probably even by the end of the game, though, there's no danger of, say, Japan losing Shanghai or Hong Kong, but they can eat away at the money at least and cut off plane landing spots and add to the defenses of the Burma Road there. Yeah, let's go back to Germany and Italy. So Italy, this game, they never really had a chance, I would say. I started the game with the Gibraltar stack, and that kind of put a wrench in doing anything like taking Gibraltar, or they did take Egypt for the turn that I moved out, which it was almost a bait, though, how I had everything set up around to just take it back and whittle down their ground forces. So then they started to play the turtle mode, and then I think this was kind of a blunder. They railed 5 guys from Rome to Romania. I think that was, in hindsight, definitely a blunder. Probably should have kept some guys home or rail in some German anti-aircraft or something like that. Especially once you see everything piling up in the med for a couple turns. But yeah, I would say Italy did fine for the pressure they were under. Germany, this game spent a lot on subs, more than I ever would. I did write it down, and the subs broke even. The amount of ships and convoys they affected was even with the cost of them. So they were even, but as the Axis, even IPC trades aren't necessarily good, because you start the game at an IPC disadvantage and you need to try and make that up in favorable trades on the way up to even economy. So I don't know if you should have committed more, or yeah, I don't think it didn't end up setting the UK back that much, I think, in total. Yeah. And then they did a late attack into Russia, which, honestly, getting Leningrad on a turn 4 attack, I think, is almost as good as you're going to get. Like, it's pretty hard to get all the way to Moscow or Stalingrad unless you start turn 1 or 2. Probably turn 2 is the better choice, but yeah. And Germany was losing a lot of money to convoys here too. Like they were losing 1 to this, or 3 to this Canadian sub, 3, and then a bonus of 5 for this British sub. This Russian sub convoyed for at least 1 turn, maybe 2, and then this Russian sub convoying Finland and now Leningrad, I guess, also. So they were losing 9 or 12 a turn, plus a bonus of 5 to subs. Losing factory capacity to bombers. Yeah, pretty rough Germany game. Like, they built a bunch of tanks and lost most of them to the Leningrad fight. They still have probably 10 or 12, no, maybe 15 on the board, but not much mech to back them up. So if they went out for a big blitz, they're kind of vulnerable to losing a bunch of their good units. Yeah, I think there's a couple turns. Oh yes, what else happened? This factory in Greece. I don't know if I see the point of that. I get that you can build in the Black Sea, but then you invested a rail station in there. I don't really see the vision there. I get that you can build in the Med, but as soon as you see that I did the Gibraltar stack, then I feel like the Med is pretty hopeless. I think that factory would be either A, better in Romania to get guys closer right to the front, or just not build it at all. And between the factory and the rail station, you put 17 down there. I also don't know about so turn 1 after Germany takes Yugoslavia. I don't know if they should continue down to Greece, because you put so many, well, not so many, but you put 5 or 6 units out of position there. And especially with the Gibraltar stack, it might be better for Italy to take out Greece to boost their economy a little bit better for home defense. Or even, I guess this is hindsight, but if you leave Yugoslavia, Greece, Bulgaria, southern France, all for Italy, Italy can make enough money on the mainland to just do all the naval invasion defense, and then Germany just spends all their money, which, yes, is less, but all their money against Russia. Yeah. All in all, it was a good game. I think just the kind of a blunder cost Rome, maybe, but I was probably going to get it. Even with those 5 infantry, in hindsight, I definitely would have got it still, too. I just would have had less to keep it, but yep. The game is called. I don't know. Maybe I'll film the next one, too. Need to edit all this together, so. All right.